Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Station 655, The Minoc. I'm your host, CT-1586, aka Slackjack. From Coruscant to the far reaches of the Outer Rim, we have thoughts and opinions, and we want to hear from you. I would just like to say first and foremost that the last deployment was a doozy. It's hard to run a radio program when you're facing down a battalion of clankers. But we are back, and we have some questions from the audience. Let's dive right in. From one of our brothers in the 212th. He writes, "Hello there. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I blame my general. I'm CT-191991, aka Popper. They say I get grenade happy, but I don't see it. I hope you are well and just wanted to tell you that your show helps raise the spirits of me and all of our brothers out there in the field. My question is, how did you get the position on Station 655, the Minoc?" That is an excellent question, and thank you for your kind words. It's an interesting story. Our division had just returned from an awful 3-month deployment to Thyfera. It was absolutely miserable. I came down with a fever 3 times down there. Our rations got infested with parasites and we lost a lot of good men. Not only from enemy forces, but the festering conditions as well. When we finally returned, I looked at the faces of my brothers. Downtrodden. And fed up with all of it. And it got me thinking, what can I do to help? I'm just a single clone. I can't work miracles, but what I can do is give our soldiers a voice. A place where they can ask questions and engage in discussion and discourse. So, with permission from the higher-ups, I set up a small studio and just started recording daily messages of affirmation and encouragement to all of us fighting in the war. Soon it grew into what it is now, and I couldn't be happier. Our next question is from Zachary Wagster, who asks, "How did you get the name Slapjack?" Well, it's Slackjack, but I'll tell you how. Back in basic training, one of my duties was to what we call jack the gears. If any machinery, guns, tanks, ships, bridges, if any of that stuff got jammed or stopped functioning, they would call on one of us jacks to fix the issue. Now, I hated this job. I hated being a jack. Sometimes I wouldn't show up until about 30 minutes after I was called in if it wasn't a serious issue. Some of the others would call out, "Quit slacking, Jack," or "Quit being a slack." Soon the name Slackjack started following me around and it just stuck. Thank you for your question. This next question comes from ARC2196, or Cole. He says, "A question that the boys and I think about every day here in the 45th Reconnaissance Corps is, what do you think is more important, saving a life or following a direct order?" Wow. As with everything, nothing in war is ever truly black and white. As soldiers of the Republic, we pride ourselves in loyalty and strength of purpose. But then you have to ask, what happens when that loyalty puts us at odds with doing the right thing? If we are ordered to follow an order that involves the death of a civilian or one of our own, we're expected to follow it. But we aren't programmed like the droids either. We have a conscience of our own, and sometimes it's worth listening to it. I try to prioritize saving lives, if I'm honest. In a war, you need allies. The living make many, but the dead make none. Thanks for your question, and good luck, brothers. Our next question is from Diamond360, who asks, "What if I told you that the Republic was now under the control of the Dark Lord of the Sith?" What? That's crazy talk. Even if there was some shady Sith, the Jedi would be on top of it. And I'll tell you, that's a slap in the face to the Chancellor. To believe he would be stupid enough to not see a Sith pulling the strings behind his back. Our next question is from Deb II, who asks, "What are your thoughts on the Mandalorians and their culture?" Well, it's a bit of a broad statement these days. The Mandalorians are spread all over in different clans and factions. Their history is a history of war and violence, of strength through domination and will. I admire that, and I fear them. Our next question is from Tiro Ryan from Coruscant. He says, "I'm currently studying galactic history. In my studies, I came across some kind of warlord that used to terrorize the Jedi and the Republic thousands of years ago. I think his name was Darth Revan. I was wondering, since you guys work so often with the Jedi, maybe you can help find out more about this guy. He sounds pretty interesting. Wow. That's some impressive power to be able to take on the Jedi and the Republic. Well, we'll look into him. We might learn some battle tactics to help us in our fight." From Intellectual Hunt. Hey, Slackjack. If you had to live anywhere in the galaxy, where would you most want to live? Personally, I'd like to leave Coruscant because I live in a bad area with a lot of crime. Also, keep up the good work, brother. Well, thank you, and good luck with finding a new home. Personally, once the war ends, I hope to find myself lounging on the beaches of Spira, a cold drink in one hand and a gorgeous Twi'lek in the other. Sorry. Our final questions come from Jordan Cox, who says, Hey, Slackjack, a couple of questions. 1. Who would you like to interview next? I'm not sure. I'll let you guys decide. Who do you want me to interview next? Let me know. Number 2, who is your favorite Jedi Commander to serve with? Definitely Master Plo Koon. Though I haven't served with him personally, his reputation amongst the other clones is incredible. He treats us like human beings, not just soulless copies like others do. He's someone who would fight alongside you to the end. I respect that. And number 3, have you met Commander Cody and Captain Rex? Who would you consider superior? I have met them both, but it depends on what you mean by superior. I'd say Captain Rex is better in the field. Rarely will you find someone more skilled with a blaster. But Cody is a brilliant tactician in his own right. More methodical than anything else in my experience. Thank you again for your question, and thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's good to be back. Before we go, a shout out to our sponsor, Lawa Dolls Thermal Undergarments. I know, like many of my brothers, I'm sick of freezing my backside off in cold climates. The heated armor can only do so much. That's why I use Lawa Dolls Thermal Undergarments. Not only does one size fit you perfectly, but the garments are thick enough to provide protection from the cold. But it's low profile enough that your armor can slide right over it with no problems whatsoever. Flexibility and durability in the same package. Not only will they keep you warm on the battlefield, but they're perfect for lounging around when you're not on deployment. If you order today with the promo code SLACKJACK, you'll get 10% off your order, 2 pairs of Lawa Dolls thermal undergarments, and 3 pairs of Lawa Dolls thermal socks. Again, that's promo code SLACKJACK for 10% off. Thank you again, Lawa Doll, for sponsoring the show. We will be right back to speak with Representative Binks about his new book, If Misa Did It, right here on Station 655, The Mynock.